Perhaps you had better start from the beginning. Perhaps you had better start from the beginning. Perhaps you had better start from the beginning.
Hey there, this is LB with Bonus Bits. Today we'll be going over part 2 of 3 of converting ServerSpec to InSpec Tests. We'll be using the code that we created in part 1, which again I have saved out on Github on a branch named 01_ServerSpec. My local environment will be Mac OS with Chef DK, Docker, Kitchen Docker Gem, Amazon Linux container, and I'll be using JetBrains RubyMine as my IDE. The task that we're going to be completing is adding the InSpec verifier to the kitchen config, renaming the ServerSpec folders to InSpec, removing the spec helper folder in Ruby file that basically call it the ServerSpec gem, adding the InSpec gems to the gem file, run the test locally, and then watching the test run in Circleci. First thing we're going to do is put a key value in the kitchen YAML to set the verifier to InSpec. The default output for InSpec is CLI, so it shows it on the console. But put a condition in there based on the environment variable to use JUnit and then an output file XML so that the test will be visible in the Circleci console. Now we're going to go ahead and delete the helpers folder that has the spec helpers Ruby file. Now we're going to rename the ServerSpec folders to InSpec. Next, we'll remove the require spec helper from each of the spec files. Then we're going to open up the gem file and add the InSpec gem and the kitchen-InSpec gem. Then we're going to run Foodcritic and Rubocop using the rake task. And it completed with no offenses. Then go ahead and run the InSpec test using the rake task in RubyMine. And it looks like all of our InSpec tests passed. I'm going to go ahead and show you what InSpec tests look like run from the command line using kitchen test or kitchen verify command. And this is what the verifier InSpec output in the kitchen YAML is set to CLI. And there you have it, the tests passed just like they do using the rake task and RubyMine. And now we can push our changes to GitHub, which will trigger Circleci's test, which is basically a rake task called Circleci that runs Foodcritic, Rubocop, and InSpec tests. You can click on the Circleci badge in the README to open up the Circleci console and see any previous builds or any current builds running. All right, the Circleci test have begun. First thing it's doing is a bundle install of gems based on the gem file in the project. And then it runs a rake task named Circleci that runs Foodcritic, Rubocop, and the InSpec tests. There we go. Ran successfully, 0 failures, and 6 tests passed. And it's as easy as that. We've converted our ServerSpec test, InSpec test, and seen them run locally and on Circleci. In part 3, I'll show you how we can take this local code and put it in its own Git repo, configure the kitchen YAML to point at it, and reduce repeating codes, because then we can share those InSpec tests between multiple cookbooks. And just like I did in part 1, I have this work in a separate branch under 02_InSpec_local that you can use as reference. Plus, I have written instructions on my Bonus Bits website. Hope that was helpful, and you can help me out by liking the video or subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, you can find me on Gitter. You can click on the badge and the README and GitHub to get to the channel dedicated to the repo that I created for this project.